What is up? As usual, today is a great day. And today I got to do an interview with one of my friends. He actually interviewed me and we talked about entrepreneurship. He asked me some questions on entrepreneurship. I got really deep into my journey, why I'm doing what I'm doing, like blogging, trying to inspire as many people as possible to experiment with entrepreneurship and dip their toes into the water, start businesses for their family and create freedom for themselves, all of that good stuff. And long story short, this video starts like any other video, which is basically the beginning of my day. I take you through what I essentially did before we had our interview, and I hope you enjoy. Peace. Another day, another day. So I'm really excited today. We'll be going to the Oro Valley campus for Zion City, which I'm really excited about. This is the first time that I'm going to a campus other than the main campus, and it is currently 5:25, and yeah, we're about to serve production. When we're done with church today, then we are going to go back home and make another high quality video, because the video yesterday was definitely a lazy one, but we're going to make a high quality video. Definitely about business, marketing, productivity, something along those lines.
Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route. Always had a way to make it work and find another route.
And church was great. Ended up leaving early because energy levels were way too low. Mom called, told her about it. She suggested that I switch up my diet a little bit. So we are incorporating more vegetables into it instead of just doing fruits and peanut butter, which is fine. A couple of things that I made today. So I blended some chia seeds and banana along with some water and made like a pretty good chia seed banana pudding, if you want to call it that. That was pretty fire. And then I also got a spaghetti squash, blended that with some tomato, basil, all that good stuff, garlic, and just kidding, it was jarred. It was like a jarred tomato sauce, but the sauce itself actually has no preservatives and it's just like straight plants. So put that in there along with some olive oil. No salt, no pepper, just olive oil and vegetables, and that was also fire. So yeah, a little rustic homemade tomato soup, and got home and started having a conversation with Jordan. The commitment that I made was to talk about business, productivity, finance every day, and that's still going to be a part of this video. I had a talk with Jordan earlier, and he said that actually it was his proposition, but he was saying, yo, what if, so he makes music, and he was like, yo, what if I made you some beats, you have exclusive rights, and in return, well, you said you wanted me to talk to you about marketing.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm gonna do that anyway.
I'll get market stuff.
Yeah, but I already do that, so yeah, we're gonna start plugging them and giving them credit in our videos. I'm gonna do that, or at the very least in the description of the video, so you can like click on the description of the video, check out more of his stuff, and get in contact with him if you want to use any of it. Anyway, yeah, gonna let him do his thing, and then this conversation will start.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Jordan. This is my friend Jabon. I have prepared a list of questions for you that I would really love to read to our listeners today. They can learn and grow about entrepreneurship, finance, and what else? Business and business productivity. Yeah. I made these questions myself, and I feel like they're pretty good. So fill me in, okay? What drives your passion for entrepreneurship?
Um, I think it's less about a passion for. Oh, okay. So, all right. Let me think about how to answer this. Businesses and corporations and working for an entity that wasn't your family is something that's only been around for 70 years. Like, before 70 years ago, when your grandparents were children, practically, not literally, but almost the entirety of the globe, planet, pretty much everyone worked for their families, even for someone that their family knew. And one of the things that's gone up, just like in the past, especially in the past, like, 10 years, the past decade or so, is we've seen, and really in the past 50 years, but like, so along with this, like, this mass merging, um, and this mass, like, belief conversion of, like, you have to go to college and work for somebody else and work for a large corporation in order to make a living.
Yeah.
We have also seen an increase in divorce rates. We have also seen an increase in substance abuse. We have also seen an increase in suicide rates. We've also seen an increase in depression, right? And so I don't think that there is necessarily, I think there's a lot of factors, and like we don't need to get into that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there's necessarily uh an epidemic that's just like, oh yeah, people are just magically or randomly becoming more depressed. It just so happens that, you know, like some people blame the internet for divorce. They blame the internet for like a lot of these issues. But this increase in those statistics, it started with this normalization of the institution that is college, not when the internet started blowing up in the 90s.
Sure.
Right? Substance abuse was really something that was an issue in the 80s and 70s as well. So when we just look at that timeline, the whole reason why I thought about this in the first place is because my own personal existential crisis and like all of that, and what's the whole point of being here, and like how can I fulfill how can I be the best version of myself in the world. And as you know, like I'm a helper by nature. I just want to help.
Yeah.
And help others, help as many people as possible. But when it comes to like why is entrepreneurship the thing, it's just recognizing that people were happier when they weren't getting in massive amounts of debt, and when they had a mother and father not just at home but at work.
Yeah.
And their parents owned the store. Their parents owned the clothing store, or owned the dental, the dental office, or the trash company, or the farm, or whatever their family business is. Their family owned that, and that's what their great grandparents did. And then they pass it down to their grandparents, and their grandparents pass it down to their children. And then what happened is like when your parents were kids, like they grew up watching their family do this business, and then when they were old enough, they also started doing the business. And then eventually, like your grandparents left the business so that your parents could operate it. And then when your grandparents weren't able to like function or really do anything anymore, it was perfectly fine, because the same business that they started and taught your parents to run is what helped pay for their retirement. And so this whole idea of like, oh yeah, start a business to retire isn't new. What is new is the idea of buy a small percentage of a massive organization that doesn't care about you at all, that you don't have any control over, and that's supposed to be your way of eventually retire. Which, by the way, is when you purchase stocks, purchase a position, or like a percentage of these companies. The only way that you're guaranteed any type of payout is if you either sell it, or if they offer some type of dividend. And the dividend itself is percentage based. So you're not getting any actual value from it unless that percentage is a substantial one for your lifestyle. The issue with that is, once again, you have no control over it. So you can buy a dividend stock, buy a share of a company or a percentage of a company that says, hey, we'll pay you dividends on a monthly or quarterly basis or whatever. But at any point, they can decide not to anymore.
Sure.
Right. And so, like, there are viable ways to invest. I'm not saying that there aren't, but the one that's absolutely guaranteed to pay you back in the long run is the business that fits in with what you and your family are actually good at and what you guys were built for. Right? Not only that, but you have the opportunity to teach your children a skill that gives them meaning, that gives them purpose. Like, there really weren't any existential crises in the before the 50s. For sure. Right? People didn't wonder what their meaning was, because, like, they had a mom, they had a dad to see what a healthy dynamic between two healthy people looked like.
Yeah.
And then they went and they found somebody, and then those people started a family together, and they passed that down. And if you just look at, like, if you look at, I'm big on psychology. So, like, if you look at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And the 6 basic human needs, right? Well, all of those are fulfilled through business and through family. And, like, if I have a family business, there's no search for purpose or meaning, right? Like, I have something that can financially fulfill my family. I have a way to connect to the community, right? I'm able to watch my children grow in a stable way because this is something that I know that works because it's been established for generations. Sure, like, that's the whole point of having a family-owned business.
Right.
And so the reason why I think I got into entrepreneurship, and particularly talking to other people about entrepreneurship and pushing people into small business, right, and really trying to lead people in that direction, is because, to me, it's not just a good solution, but it's the only solution to a sustainable future, not just for yourself, but for literally every generation after you.
Yeah.
So what is the thing that makes your blood special, right? And then, like, how can you cultivate that, not just into something that's going to help you create freedom, but actual generational wealth and generational freedom for your family, not just financially, but also spiritually, right? And, like, to me, I think that's really what entrepreneurship is about and why I'm so passionate about it.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think it just reminds me of that conversation that we had previously about the way that we were designed
Yeah.
to operate, I mean, you look at Egyptians and they were slaves, and it's like, oh, that's every person working at Walmart right now. No offense.
Mm.
But, like, it's true, we're slaves to the college because they put us in debt.
Yeah.
And then we're slaves to our bosses and our managers or whatever else. Like,
I mean, just study the way that slavery in and of itself and how it started. And slavery started as indentured servitude. And, like, that's an ancient story. And indentured servitude means that you get to debt, right? Or you make a decision, or one of your ancestors made a decision, and that put you in debt to another people or another society. And then you have to work that debt off without seeing any actual payout or benefit for yourself in real life. And then what happens when you die and you still have debt? It's then passed on to the next generation, and that generation needs to pay off your debt. That's literally how it works.
yeah,
That's how student loans work.
Wow.
So, like, yeah, if you can't, and, like, people try to get out of it through the death benefit of life insurance policies, and there's things that exist to kind of help with that. But no, yeah, it is a slavery-based system. And we can even look into, like, the way that, like, private prisons in the United States work and all of that. And, like, I don't want to go into that whole rabbit hole, but like, yes, it is a slavery-based system. The prison system in the United States is not designed to reform.
Sure.
It's not. It's cheap labor.
Yeah.
And it's extremely profitable.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. So, for sure. So, but yeah, college is the same way. It's the reason why it's marketed as well as it is. It's the reason why people think it's the only way.
Dude, if I feel like everybody could agree with this, but if I really wanted to make some money, I should just start a college.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to make money.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think, like, well, if I want to get rich, I need to come up with this innovative idea. And the reality is, like, yes, if you look at, like, the ultra wealthy, like, if we're looking at, multi-billion-dollar people or billion-dollar people, like, they have innovative ideas. But if you just look at people who aren't, so when I say ultra wealthy, I'm talking about 9 figures or more.
Yeah.
Right. Honestly, 10 figures or more. But most people who are making like 300 million or less, like 300 million. Like,
Just a lot of freaking money.
right. So 300 million, you don't need to have a great idea.
No.
You know, like I'll give you an idea of some people who are worth between 300 million, like 300 million, 100 million. Like Andy Elliott is like his company and what they do, and he's worth in that ballpark, right? In that 9-figure range. You know what they are? They're salespeople. You know what they do for a living? They teach salespeople how to sell things.
Wow.
Right? I'll give you another example, right? So Elaine Colati. So Elaine Colati is one of the women. She's who started a construction company. Construction. Right? Monique Idlet, who is if you know Timbaland, the producer Timbaland, it's Timbaland's ex-wife. She just like literally invests in other people's businesses. That's it.
Huh.
250 million.
Wow, dude.
Right? And so a lot of people think you need to have this super amazing idea in order to have this this wealth and I mean that's still like a ridiculous amount of wealth. Like that's a person who clearly loves entrepreneurship. Realistically, like most people, if they want to escape their lifestyle, it's only going to cost them like it's probably going to cost them less than $100 grand. Sure, right? The only way it's going to cost more than that is with lifestyle for you. And then if you want the more extravagant things, like even then, like you're looking at like what, like maybe a max of 50 million. After 50 million, like it's just like you're just playing New Game Plus at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, 50 million. That's over $1 million a week.
What toy can I buy today?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like 52 million is $1 million a week. After 52 million, like what did you do?
Yeah.
Like why am I here? Yeah, right. So, but yeah, so like once you're making, you know, I'll give you another example, right? So somebody that you and I both know, Alex Ramosi. Alex Ramosi was able to, like, he had a 46 million net worth, sold his companies for $46 million. What kind of business was it? He found out the best way to fill gyms and then taught other gym owners how to fill their gyms.
That's it.
That was it.
What?
Is there any, like, you tell me, is there anything that's mind-blowing about that idea?
The fact that maybe he did it? I don't know.
How long have gyms existed?
For a long time, dude.
Right. And why have gyms existed that long? Because people go to them.
Yeah. There's a need.
Right. But people go to the gym, which means that before Alex Ramosi was ever born, there were probably people who were filling gyms.
Yeah.
He didn't come up with a revolutionary, ridiculous, and that's my point.
Yeah.
Right. So, you don't have to come up with a one of a kind, one in a million idea, amazing business strategy that's super unique in order to escape poverty.
Yeah.
You just need to pick one thing and serve one group of people really well, and that's it.
You don't gotta be honest.
No. So like once again, like what is the thing that aligns with your blood, right? What does that skill look like? How can we define that into a process that the market will actually want? And then how do we freaking teach our kids the same skill?
Yeah, easily.
And that's it. That's the game. You do that, you're free.
In there, bro.
Yeah. So, yeah, man.
Nice. That was good. All right.
Thanks.
All right, my next question. What developed your desire to build guidance around finance? Like, why do you want to teach people?
I think that people
I mean, how it flows into the saying.
yeah,
Like it was question.
like once again, like a lot of people think that you need to have like this extravagant amount of money in order to do things, right? And this can be, you know, we're talking about starting a business or like people have no issue computing how much money it is to go on vacation and travel. Like that's not what I'm talking about. But people think you need an extravagant amount of money in order to start a business, and somehow that's expensive, or that the idea of these are just things that I've heard, right? Or that you know, well, I need a lot of money if I want to invest. Like this is something that I've heard a lot, right? And like, oh, you know, well, investing is a rich people's game.
Yeah.
And it's just like, to me, like, it's really difficult for me to communicate this to people, and I'm still working on that part of my communication. But because like when I say it, I trigger a lot of cognitive dissonance when I'm talking to people about it.
Sure.
But the reality is like you don't invest to get rich. or you don't get, like, it's not that the rich are the only people who invest. Like, that's not how it works. It's that, like, investing is the thing. Like, investing is the thing that leads to more money. Like, you put your money in this thing, you invest in something, and then your money multiplies after you invest in it.
Yeah, dude.
Like, that's how investing works.
Yeah.
So the reason why I, like, created like the budget sheet, for example, right? So I'll tell you exactly where the concept of cash flow came from, because it's not my concept. It's something that rich people have been doing for, and wealthy people have been doing for decades at least.
Sure.
Right. I think the thing that popularized it was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, yeah.
But the cash flow quadrant that he talks about within that book, in my opinion, is kind of dated. Not because you shouldn't, buy, save, invest with that concept in mind, but it's just that people aren't really using pen and paper anymore, and most people don't read books.
Unfortunate.
So, all right, well, how can I take this concept and bring it into, like, this century and to this generation in a way that's palatable for them, that they can actually use, right? And make it as simple as possible. And so I think by breaking it down like that, because once again, like, people talk about like the 50-30-20 rule and like all of this other stuff, and I'm not saying that those aren't viable, but the issue with that is, like, it's very complicated. And I don't think I just think there are a lot of people out there who don't use that.
Yeah.
Right. But if I'm able to just put the numbers in my bank account into a spreadsheet for, like, freaking, how long did it take you? Like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Right. Then all of a sudden I know, oh, wow. And, like, it automatically, I can see exactly how much money I'm losing or how much money I'm making or whatever the case is. And it makes it a lot easier to track goals.
Yeah.
And once again, like, the number in your bank account may go up, down, left, right, whatever. But if you just look at this thing like once a week, once a month, whatever, it's pretty easy to know. It's a lot easier to track your expenses that way.
Yeah. So, like,
I think people just need that knowledge for sure. Financial literacy is something that's taught.
yeah, it needs to be taught for sure. Unfortunately, we just have to learn it by ourselves sometimes. High school didn't take care of it. Anyway, so, like, yeah, with the cash flow concept, so that, explain that a little bit. So that's like how much money you're getting,
How much money is flowing out of your bank account or flowing into your bank account at your bill?
every month. Okay.
So then every week, every day. I mean, that's the way I send it, the spreadsheet. You've seen it.
Yeah. So if that's the idea, then how do I take that knowledge? I pull it out. I'm like, hey, I want to create a business. What number should I be looking at realistically in order to, begin to see that cash flow more positive incline?
Your income needs to be higher than your expenses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, what kind of brought you through that step? What was the first time that you saw the cash flow in your own life and you were like, hey, there's a problem here. I need to do something in order to.
The first time I saw that,
Yeah.
I read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad the first time. Like, the first time I read it was in high school, and I think I told you this part of the story. Like, I'll get to, like, here. I'll just give you the conclusion. Like, I've never really had an issue with, like, losing money because I learned it early. So that's the short answer. But like, when I was a kid, like, my mom didn't always have a babysitter she could take me to. So when she was going to night, because no one taught my mom financial literacy skills, no one taught my mom how to manage money. So, like, she used to go to, like, night classes and stuff. And I think I told you about this. Like, I remember at one point we even ended up at, like, an NLM. It's called Primerica. They do insurance, right? But a multi-level marketing company, and that sells insurance. And she would go to, like, these seminars and these teachings about what's life insurance for and why do you invest and what's compound interest and da-da-da. And, like, when she went to those things, because she didn't have a babysitter, I would also go to those things.
Really?
And that's when I started learning about finances. When I got a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad, which was in high school, and I read it because I was a reader, and I saw the cash flow quadrant, that's when I decided to use it, was in high school. I started making money when I was 12. I got a bike for my 12th birthday, and I wanted to go past the mailbox. My mom wouldn't let me because she couldn't get in contact with me. So we brainstormed the different ways. I told her, I was like, well, just give me a cell phone and then I can go. Or she's like, well, we ain't got that kind of money. What is it you can do for a cell phone? And when we brainstormed, the idea was, okay, well, kids at school always ask for gum. So I'll go to the store and I'll buy like a big bag of gum and go to school and sell it for like 25 cents a piece. So that's what I did. And that's how I got my first cell phone. And so like after I got and my mom was like definitely about, well, make sure you save some of your money. Like she did that. But it wasn't until I got the Rich Dad Poor Dad book that I was like, oh, you know, and it was like, just make sure that you're making more money than you're losing. I get it. And then I started applying that lesson. And then it wasn't until like my senior year of high school that I ended up finding out about like stocks and investing in stocks. And so that was the thing at the time, is like, oh, well, I'll invest in stocks. And I remember there was like this one kid who like they did like a whole news article, and I saw like the news. It was like Channel 9 news. And it was like this kid who like, I don't know, I think he like paid off his mom's house or something ridiculous.
Dang, dude.
But what the thing was is like same story, black kid, single mom, and he was like really into shoes, and his mom told him, like, you're allowed to do whatever you want with your money, but you need to buy like if you're going to buy shoes, like you need to buy like, if you don't own a piece of that company, you can't buy anything from it. Like that was the rule that his mom gave him. So she was like, okay. And he like ran with it, and I really got into stock investing, and then was able to make a lot of money from stock investing. So when I was a kid, I was like, ooh, stocks.
Sure.
And that's when I like learned a lot about dividends and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, lessons, experiences, but
Yeah.
and I still have money, but I still have stocks. I still have tons of stocks. I still buy stock. I have crypto, buy crypto, dividend stocks. All of that's important. I just don't look at that as the primary avenue to retire. For sure, entrepreneurship is.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah, having your own business, building a legacy is like kind of the common ground that I'm getting here.
Yeah.
So good, dude. My next question for you is, how would you suggest someone get started with their journey to becoming financially free?
Watch one of my videos in the description.
Oh. Starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That question. Back there. That's all. I really don't have much. Outside of that, it's just start. A lot of people, people don't have an issue with analyzing or thinking or strategizing or planning. Like people are really good at that.
Sure.
People don't start. And then when they do start, they do it for 2 weeks to 2 months, and then they stop. So start and they keep going. And then when you do make a mistake, and when you do come to an obstacle, instead of stopping, choose one of two other options, which is either, persisting and pushing through the storm, or, like taking a lesson from that experience and going in another direction. Like if you're trying to start a shoe company and nobody wants to buy shoes, like try starting a sock company instead. Like that's what I mean by different direction.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, okay, nobody is buying my t-shirts. Maybe I need to
Pants.
Yeah.
Shorts.
Yeah. Maybe I need to change the logo. Maybe people aren't into the funny stuff. Maybe I need to make some serious stuff. Yeah. But like there's so many different ways that you can experiment and different things that you can try before you just give up.
Yeah. What do you think would be like a prime time for you to invest in something like that with your time and money? Is there really any age limit, would you say, or?
Like, I'll give you the Chinese proverb, and I'll give you some examples. Chinese proverb is the best time to plant a seed is 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
Okay.
So I'm a huge believer in that. When we look at anyone that's had wild success in business, it's like that's your goal. It's like, hitting the entrepreneurial lottery and, having like a 9-figure, 10-figure business, whatever. Like most people don't see that kind of success until they're like their 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett. Yeah. Warren Buffett is a good example. The guy who created Grey Goose didn't create Grey Goose until he was in the 70s.
Really?
Had a lot of failed. But the thing about these people is like they try, and then eventually they win. If you do anything long enough, eventually it becomes unreasonable for you not to succeed. So fucked up. And yeah, but like even if it's not within the realm of entrepreneurship in particular, like let's say that you want to be like an actor, right? Samuel L. Jackson didn't land his first role until he was in his 40s.
Really?
Yeah, like we all know the story about Michael Jordan and how he didn't even make his high school team. Well, like you play the professional athlete, like it doesn't matter. Like, you can pick whatever you want. But yeah, there's just the whole point is like there's absolutely no way to know when you're going to strike gold. Just be patient enough to know it's probably not going to be within a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that's gonna turn some heads for sure.
That's fine.
But that's exactly
the truth. Google it.
that's exactly what we want,
Yeah. Like when you most people want to get rich quick. That's why they don't succeed.
Right.
Yeah. But part of God only blesses us with what we're prepared to be blessed with. And if I just gave you something, how much would you value it versus if you had to earn it?
Yeah. Wow, dude. Man, that just
On average, it takes 5 years for a business to become profitable. Keep that in mind when you're doing it.
yeah. Dang, man. That one's free. All right, so pertaining to this conversation, my last question for you.
Yeah.
Pertaining to this conversation, just what we talked about, building legacies, just understanding stocks, understanding different opportunities to grow and build your entrepreneur business. Hopefully, you guys are feeling a little bit inspired by Javon's story. It's
All 3 of you.
it's all 3 of you, for real.
I don't think nobody.
I hope people do. I will.
I pray people do.
I will let you know that I will watch this video. Okay. I'm just letting you know. Not to look at myself, I promise.
And share this with all your friends, dog. Share this with all of your family too. Share it with your dog.
And your plans. So pertaining to this conversation, everything we talked about, let's take it back to your 20-year-old self. 18, 20, wherever you want to fit within that realm.
So I was in either Afghanistan or Kuwait. Okay.
Let's say like immediately out of the military or right before the military, before you made the decision to go, give yourself 3 things that you would take with you if you could go back to that time. 3 things that
that I would tell like my 17-year-old self.
Yeah, you would tell, or like if you could go back in time, 3 things that you would take with you. That makes sense.
Wow.
That's deep.
I mean, no, but it's gonna be a super lame answer.
Definitely surface level.
Yeah, that's just a pretty lame answer because like, God would tell me to join the Air Force. I think if I did something differently, I probably would have not been a mechanic. Like I qualified to do any job. I probably would have just chosen something else, but I chose that, and like that was. I mean, I could say it's a mistake, but like I'm pretty thankful for where I am now, so I will think it's a mistake. But yeah, that. But I would definitely say join the military. Like that's the right decision. So that. Oh man, 3 things that I'll tell him. So a 17-year-old self.
But that's not really. Yeah, like, hey, you should invest in this, or you should spend more time doing this. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like take them on to smell the flowers more.
No.
No?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's still arguably a problem, but yeah. I don't think that necessarily what works for someone and someone else's normal is going to work for everyone else.
Yeah.
And I am the kind of person, I mean, we talked about this, like I'm the kind of person that values work and contribution to society. And I think the more time you spend away from that, more time you spend away from your purpose, like that's just not, we can talk about that, I guess, but this is also like an Enneagram thing, I guess, like a nature thing, and I'm an achiever. I judge myself based on my accomplishments. So, and that's not a mistake. That is how I am designed. But yeah, it's not a flaw. But
I'm actually kind of glad that you are having difficulty answering this question.
yeah.
Well, that's really insightful because most people would just be like immediately just. I know for a fact I could tell you 3 things right off the gate.
Yeah.
Like easily some things that I'd take back in time. Hey, don't do this, don't do this, right? Figure this out. And so I don't know. It's a testament to how present you are, I guess.
I mean,
Really cool.
well, that's the thing. Yeah, like I'm like I do think that there are times in which I make decisions, particularly big decisions, a lot more quickly than other people would. But yeah, just generally speaking, like I think when we talk to like old people, just to give you an example, like when we talk to old people, like, and we ask them like, hey, what do you regret? If you could go back, you could change something. A lot of times they just talk about the stuff that they didn't do, the stuff that they didn't get to experience.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that I've done, it's the scary stuff. Like I've done the quote unquote risky stuff, right? The starting the business, the leaving home when I was 17, the networking, the posting, videos on a public forum, even though like at a time where they tell you like, yo, like your employers are going to judge you based on what you put on the internet, be careful. Like I did all of that and I didn't die. So like I don't know, like I don't think that there's anything that I've done that inherently has shattered my life in any way. So I don't really have any regrets. Could I get there quicker? Sure. But like, yeah, man, like I'm really enjoying the journey. So I don't know if there's much that I would tell myself that I should or shouldn't do. Like I could tell myself like, yo, invest in Bitcoin and I have more money now, but then like I probably just experienced more existentialism.
Yeah.
Like to be honest, like do you know who Luke Belmar is? Okay, so Luke Belmar is like another multimillionaire guy.
Sure.
Right? But Luke Belmar made the majority of his fortune from buying Bitcoin at the right time and selling it at the right time. And so like I know from my perspective, I look at Luke Belmar, who definitely like he has a great platform, tons of people because he has a ton of money and flashy stuff. When you have a lot of money, it's really easy to be flashy. When you have a lot of money and get attention.
Sure.
Right? Because people want that. So they're going to watch you because they want the same thing. And the material wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And he says things that I agree with, but it's super hard for me to like want to follow his advice because I know how he made his fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's a huge difference between the person who got there from the hard work versus the person who got there by buying and selling at the right time.
Right.
Now, I don't want to call it luck or fortune because I don't believe in that. I think everything happens for a reason. And I think he's touching the correct people, but I don't want to be a Luke Belmar.
Yeah.
Right. I want to be the person who like, he did the right thing and he researched and he followed it despite what the odds or the circumstances were.
Yeah.
Right. Like, when I was a kid, I had this dream of being an astronaut because like we didn't grow up with a lot of money and I had a single mother and I was an only child. And so in my mind, I was like, wow, if I become an astronaut and the first black astronaut, like on the moon, how I'm able to do that, right? Like, what's your excuse? And like, how inspirational would I be with that kind of story, And like, just to plant that in reality, there's this guy, his name is escaping my mind right now, and I don't want to get it wrong, but there's a movie you can watch it's called A Million Miles Away.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, true story, right? They were farmers in Mexico, and his family literally they literally saved every single penny they had in order to send him to college. Like they were poor, like poor.
Yeah.
Like his parents never went to regular school, much less college.
Wow.
And then he spent years. I think he applied like 13 or 14 times before he was finally accepted by NASA.
And that's one every single year too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like for over a decade, he went back and back and back. Like, and he applied and he applied, and we kept getting rejected until he literally went in person to talk to them. Like, bro, I did everything. And like, that's the kind of story that I would prefer to happen.
Right. Over the get rich quick.
Yeah. Like I don't want the he was lucky story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I worked for this.
Yeah, I put calluses on my.
Listen, this is possible for anyone.
Yeah.
Here's proof.
Yeah.
Do you want it or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, it's like I heard a saying once. It's fast money earned is fast money lost, or something along the same lines.
Yeah.
I think that's so true. And you see these really influential, wealthy families who've had old money for centuries.
Yeah.
Because of hardworking grandparents who decided to like step up and actually do something different. And then all of a sudden, it's affecting not only their great grandchildren, but 4 or 5 generations after that. It's crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Nice sit down. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh, that's it?
Oh, I don't know. What else you want to talk about? Do you have more questions? No, that's it. That's all I got. Okay. Subscribe.
I really hope you enjoyed that interview. If you thought that there were some good nuggets, some good tidbits of information in there, or if you just found it kind of inspirational or motivational at all, you can subscribe, you can leave a comment. That will definitely help me and help the algorithm. But not just that, you can also check out the Forever Getting Better podcast, which has roughly 20 episodes right now, I believe, 19, 20 episodes. And there are more episodes that will be coming soon, including this audio. This audio is going to be uploaded tonight along with these YouTube videos. And yeah, you can check out some of the past episodes and expect more in the future. Jordan is actually going to be doing some interviews and some episodes himself whenever time permits. And that's pretty much all I got for you. Another thing, he makes music, and you will be hearing his music in these videos, possibly in the podcast as well in the background. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for checking out the video. Peace.